Knows Best.
Hi, friends, and welcome back to Brenna Knows Best. I'm your host, Brenna Berg. Hi, how are you guys? Happy Friday. Happy Friday. I hope you guys had the best week. Let's catch up. Last Thursday, I went to the Colleen Rothschild event. And I spoke about it before I went, and I really was trying my very hardest not to complain, but the event was at this place called Le Soul House. I might have mentioned this. It is apparently like a social club, and here in Dallas, social clubs, essentially what that is, if you don't know, and basically I don't even freaking know, but they're like bars, or not necessarily bars, but they're just venues, I suppose you would call it, a house, a bar, a place where you pay a monthly membership and then you get to go there, and then you also still pay for whatever you buy there. But it's the intentionality, I think, is to be like exclusive, and I don't really honestly know, because here's the thing. The first time I was ever exposed to a social club was Park House, and Park House in Dallas is in Highland Park Village. And let me remind you, Highland Park, Texas is this little neighborhood within Dallas, and it's the weirdest freaking thing. And I don't know if there's anything like it in other big cities. Like, let's say, you know, in a big city, there's Minneapolis, right in the center, let's say. And then around it, it's like Burnsville, and it's, I don't know, Eden Prairie, and it's all the suburbs around it, right? And that's how cities are. You have the city center, and then you have the suburbs around it. Well, Highland Park, Texas is like literally this tiny little neighborhood within Dallas. So when you look up Dallas, it'll have like the border, but then in the center, there's this hole, and that's Highland Park. Highland Park is a very wealthy neighborhood, and actually SMU is like within Highland Park, and they have Highland Park High School. They have their own police force. They have their own library. Like, it's bouge and it's extra, but like literally from my apartment in Uptown Dallas, it's like not even a mile away. Like, it's right there. It's like the weirdest thing. However, Highland Park Village is a little mall, but like an outdoor one. What do you call that? Not an outlet, because outlet stores are like the cheaper stores. Just like an outdoor mall, essentially. It's a square. It's a perfect, no, not square, rectangle. It's a rectangle. And then there's like a building in the center as well. And it has Hermes, Chanel, Dior, Jimmy Choo, like all of the highest end shopping stores. Okay. Then there are also restaurants, you know, sprinkled in the mix. There's Honor Bar, and there's Amico Cena, and there's Lounge 31, and there's this, that, and the other. There's the store called The Conservatory, which I went there for Nanny Mom quite a bit. It was like I guess they kind of had everything. They had clothes, but like interior design. I remember I bought like this really fucking expensive vase, like a $600 vase from there. Anywho, okay. Highland Park, or not Highland Park, Park House is a club, a social club within Highland Park Village. And when I first moved to Dallas and I was exposed to Equinox, and then, you know, my ex-boyfriend was a golfer, and the place that he golfed was either professional golfers or like rich fucking men, because it was really fucking expensive. Therefore, we would go there because a lot of the men would have memberships at Park House. And again, y'all, wait, let me see if I can find information online. The initiation fee. So there's like a junior membership. I remember looking, because at the time I'm like, oh my gosh. And at first I'm like, oh, this is so sick. Like, oh, you know, I had never seen Wealth. I'm like, what the hell? You know, only people with the membership can get in this bitch. Like, I think everybody's allotted only a guest. I don't really know all of the rules. Park House Dallas membership cost. Okay, resident memberships. Oh, it's not as bad as I thought. $5,000 initiation fee for the primary member, and $2,500 for a spouse or partner, plus $3,000 of annual dues for the primary member and $1,500 for a spouse. And I think you have to spend a certain dollar amount on food and drinks per month. So like, you, number one, you just paid to be able to go there, this $5,000 initiation, then the annual fees, and then you also have to spend like hundreds of dollars just like on buying stuff going there. Anywho, that was my first little, window into this world. Then my best friend Garrett moved to Nashville and he became a member at Soho House. And Soho House is like more wildly known. I don't think that's the word I was looking for, but it's like all over the world. Like there's Soho houses in New York City, and then they built this one in Nashville, and I think there's one in Austin, and they're in LA, and they're in London, and they're all over. Basically, it's like a chain of a certain kind of club membership, and Garrett became a member, and that was really cool actually, because they have a gym there and a restaurant and a cafe and a pool. Like that has a ton of perks, which I don't know what the cost is. And Nashville was weird in the way where I think you kind of like had to be somebody, like maybe not be somebody, but like Garrett was like trying to become an artist, and like you kind of had to be in the arts, I feel was like what the Soho House was doing. Well, anyways, in Dallas, I remember actually Nanny Mom got a D magazine. Dallas has a ton of magazines. I also don't know if this is normal for other cities, but like in Dallas, it's just so fucking uppity and weird. And like Dallas people just eat, sleep, breathe shit. Dallas, we have like D magazine, and there's Mod Lux, and there's Dallas this and Dallas that. There's like so many Dallas magazines, Dallas weddings, like literally, and all these people just fucking pay to be in there. Like Nanny Mom, because they lived in Preston Hollow. So there's Highland Park, which is like its own zip code. Well, north, or even to what direction is University Park? Then there are neighborhoods that are the Dallas zip code, but they're like Preston Hollow is like, it's known for their bigger lots. Like most of the houses in Preston Hollow have just like bigger houses and bigger lots. There are, of course, like where Nanny Fam is, they actually don't have a big lot. They're in like more of a tight knit kind of little, regular residential. I mean, their house is like 7,000 square feet, but you know what I mean? Well, because they live in that neighborhood, I'm guessing they just hand out these fucking magazines left and right. Therefore, I would see all of these magazines at Nanny Mom and Dad's house, and I would always grab them when I would go to school pickup. That way I could sit in the school pickup line and look at the magazines. And like at our grocery store, right when you check out at Central Market, they're like all of the Dallas magazines. Well, it's always the same people. It's like the same real estate groups, and there's always somebody being highlighted, so on and so forth. Well, I remember one time Nanny Mom picked one up at the Central Market because it was like the top social clubs in Dallas. And literally, y'all, there are so many. Oh, I actually have gone to another one. It's called Maplewood, which that one was more cash. My birthday party was actually there. When I opened or helped open that Pilates studio, there were a few people that worked there, and there was this one girl who actually, she just opened a studio of her own. Her name is Lauren. She opened Sante Studio with my friend Chris. It's in Snyder Plaza. If you're a Dallas person, you know. If you don't know, you don't know. But she's like the sweetest girl ever, and she like very clearly comes from money, and like we weren't close at the time, but they wanted to throw me like a birthday party, and her parents were members at this like Maplewood place. I can't even remember now directionally where it was. I think it was like West Dallas, but it was the same thing. It was like you had to be a member, but she was able to pull some strings and get this little dinner. Therefore, we invited all of like, it was kind of my birthday party for like the Pilates people, because we were really close at that time because I was there every goddamn day of my life, right? Anywho. Well, Nanny Mom's friends, they actually aren't a part of any social clubs. Not that I'm aware of. Maybe they are now, but they weren't before. But they're very closest friends. The dad is like wildly successful, and he is a member at this one downtown. Because here's the thing, and I can kind of understand, like if you're a businessman and you do a lot of lunches and a lot of like, there is this sort of prestige, and like, you know, to take them to a nice restaurant, like when you're trying to make, you know, $1 million deals. I get it, right? I can understand. Is it stupid in theory? And like, do I think it's like so uppity and fucking dumb? Yeah, but I understand it, right? Anywho, basically, I'm not sure how we got here. Oh, I was just saying that he was a part of this one, and it's like the most expensive fucking one, and I don't even remember what it's called. I'd never heard of it, because that's the thing. Normal people, you don't know about the really prestigious ones. Anywho, the Colleen Rothschild event was at a club or a social club, whatever you want to call it, but this one is probably way more laid back. I was going to say rolled back. What the fuck? Anywho. I actually spoke to a woman who I think manages the like memberships, because here's the thing. It is this cute little house in Bishop Arts, and Bishop Arts in Dallas. What the fuck is going on with my words? Yo! I am literally so sorry. Bishop Arts is a neighborhood. It's like on the south side across the river from Dallas. I don't know. It's like an artsy fartsy neighborhood. Okay, I never go there. However, this little house was in the middle of a residential area and actually on the same exact street. Back in the day when I did like 100 jobs at one time, you all know I walked dogs on WAG. And on this street next to this park, I used to walk this bully. There were so many dogs that I really enjoyed. And if like the process was seamless and like the people tipped well and it was just like nice and I liked the dog, I would often do like repeat dog walks. And I used to walk this like little American bully. Well, he wasn't little, he was short and stout on this road. So like as I'm driving, I'm like, oh my God, I used to come here all the freaking time. But anyway, it was a house, and I don't know if it technically was a house before, but it has a huge outdoor area. Like I posted on my story, if you saw, you didn't see all of it, but like it had an upstairs and it had like a courtyard and like so much room, and there was a pool, and it was gorgina. Okay, it's called Le Sol House, I believe. I will say, it is hot as fuck in Dallas. I got there. I'm always first. Like the thing is from 6 to 9, you know, it's a come and go. I'm there at like 5:55. I don't know what that mental illness is called, but I have it. I show up first, which was really nice because then I always get to talk to like the people. Like I don't give a shit about interacting with the other goddamn content creators. Like I'll do it obviously. And like some of them are nice and it's fine, but like that's not what I'm there to do. I'm there to talk to the brand and see all the people. And I just had lunch with the marketing girlies like a couple of weeks ago, if you guys remember, and I got to see them and they were so excited, and I was so excited to see them, and I got to like sit and chat with them because also I know they're going to be like bouncing around. Like they don't need to take care of me. Like I'm fine. You know, I go around, I do a little photo, and then that's it. Like, you know, it's not whatever. Well, it was so hot and muggy. It had been storming all morning. So like it's always hot in Dallas, but when it storms, it then gets so wet outside. And all of us, you know, all these influencers are dressed to the goddamn nines, sweating our freaking tits off. And I hated to complain, but it was like so glaringly obvious that everybody was like low key struggling. I stayed there for quite a bit. I was there from like 6 to 7:30, I think, or 5 to 6:30. Now I'm not so sure. And actually at the very same time, Carter was going to Park House, that place I was just telling you about in Highland Park Village, for a work dinner. I think all of the associates. Oh my gosh, how did I forget to say this? Okay, I go to this event. Oh, when I was like trying to beat the heat, I would like go into like the little house, and I went upstairs just because I was like, like I'm going to find somewhere to sit. And like, you know, number one, that way I don't have to interact with people. Like number one, I was hot, but number two, like you just get exhausted. The social battery like very quickly depletes. Well, I go upstairs, and the two girls that, again, I was like one of the very first people there. Therefore, when I walked in, I know the Colleen Rothschild ladies, there were also, they always do like activation. So there was like a head spa there that were doing like the scalp, you know, I've been seeing it all over social media where they check your scalp or whatever. There were people handing out like charcuterie boards and greens. And then there was like one little station where you could embroider a bag. And then there was one little station where you do this like little Scentsy thing. And they employ people. And what I gathered, I walked in, I say hello to the people I know, and then I go up to the other people and I'm like, do you work for Colleen Rothschild, or like who do you work for? And there's a company called Dallas Sites 101, and actually they have a very poppin' Instagram. They're like one of those accounts that does like all of the Dallas shit, like new restaurant in Dallas, or like go to this thing this weekend. Like they're just like one of those things. Well, apparently I talked to one of the girls, or like multiple of them, and they have like a media house, so they also like put on events for other people. Basically, Colleen Rothschild hired them, and then they do kind of like the activation. So like I went up to the Sense little station, and I was talking to this girl, and I'm like, hi, I'm like, do you work for, you know, maybe I am so fucking annoying. I was thinking that as I was leaving the event. I'm like, do people actually like me, or do they just kind of put up with me? I don't know, but I like to talk to people. And especially I so often see where like content creators don't like, not content creators. Well, yeah, content creators or influencers, like some of them just aren't very personable, which is like fine. But then I feel like staff in a lot of these things, like people treat staff like they're not human beings or like don't speak to them. And like, I just love talking to everybody. And I feel like I always kind of talk the best with those kinds of people and like with those people, obviously. And anyways, I was talking to this girl and she was an intern for Dallas Sites, or like the media company. She's going to like Oklahoma right now. She's in college. She's like gonna be a junior. I'm like, oh my God, you're just like a young little pup. Love that. But she's here for the summer and she's like, I'm living at my aunt and uncle's house who live in Highland Park. I'm like, oh, what a nice little hookup you got going on there. Because that's the thing. If you hear somebody's from Highland Park, they have family in Highland Park. The second you hear Highland Park, Texas, rich. Just think rich. Just think money. Old money. There's new money. Like just money. Right? There's not a place in Highland Park that's like less than $1 million or like a home or anything. Like, I'm not kidding, y'all. Like, I'm literally not kidding. And that's where also with SMU, like Carter went to SMU Law and it was $180,000. But like SMU is known for, because it's in Highland Park. I mean, it's a nice school in general. It's really fucking expensive. But like everybody from Highland Park goes to SMU essentially. And like other just rich people from other places. Like there's just like this energy and air. Like if you also ever hear SMU, like it just screams rich. Actually, Carter and I walked over to the store called Mizzen in Maine the other day. He really likes their shirts. When we went to the Byron Nelson, they didn't have any left in his size. And we had bought some there before, a shirt or two, but they also do like branded. And now that he went to the law school, and like it is, again, I'm going to sound so annoying and so like, oh, I'm so rich. But like when you wear SMU, it is like when I see other people wearing SMU, you're like rich, or you like they come from money, or like something's going, like there's an energy about it because it is expensive and it is in Highland Park. Like it's stupid, but it's true. Like it just is true. And like when you meet people, you talk to somebody that went to SMU, they're from Highland Park, or there's just money, right? You just know that they either come from money, their parents are rich, something. Well, obviously, Carter and I are going to ride that train until we die. And therefore, I don't have any SMU gear. I should get some. But he likes to wear polos and stuff. And he went there. Like, that's valid. But we went to Mizzen in Maine. And as we were walking out, Carter looks at me and he's like, there's just something about, getting an SMU, like wearing. He's like, there's just like an energy. I'm like, no, totally. I'm like, it's stupid, but it's like so valid. But anyways, how did I get here? Carter had, the girl at the Colleen Rothschild. Anyway, I don't know why I was explaining all of her details, but I went upstairs at one point to hide. And there were two girls that worked for like the Soul House. Obviously, they had to have people there that like work there. They weren't doing anything on site, but just in case somebody had an issue or whatever. But I like walk up these stairs and they're sitting there doing computer work. And I'm like, oh, sorry. I was like, I'm just taking a break. They're like, no, come sit down. We can chat. I was like, no, I don't want to bother you guys. I just like need to get out of the heat and like stop socializing for a second. But then I started talking to this girl who did the memberships, and she was kind of explaining the whole situation, and it sounds just like really casual. It sounds like they have a lot of like artsy fartsy people naturally because it's in Bishop Arts. And she's like, we have a lot of people that work from home, but they just want to get out, and it's almost like paying for an office space. Like there are so many different facets. She's like, we also, the pool is included, and so in the summertime and on the weekends, a lot of people come and use the pool. Like if you live in a place like a home or something and you don't have a pool, like there are these nice little things that I can understand why somebody would pay for the membership. And we kind of went down the rabbit hole, and I told her, I was like, actually my fiance is at Park House right now, which is obviously so different. That's just a bar and they have food. But I was saying he was at a work dinner, and she's like, no, totally. And we got talking about like taking people out to business dinners and so on and so forth, whatever. Because Carter and I have talked about being members and just networking, like the people there. This is just like the reality of the situation. Anything that you're like spending money on like that, like it's for the connection, similar to SMU, similar to any college that's like an Ivy League or expensive. Like I think more than half of the reason why you do that, like when I think about our kids, like I would want them to go, is for the connections. Like, especially in Dallas, like anytime you meet somebody, they went to SMU or they went to TCU, and like everything is about who you know. Dallas is such a place of who you know, and that's how you get the job. And it just is what it is. And therefore, I see the value in spending money on things that like get you the network or like make you meet the people. Do you know what I mean? Anywho, Carter goes to this dinner, and I'm going to try and tread lightly. Well, first I'm going to give you guys some tea on this girl who he works with, who is an associate. And from the very second I met her, she knew I was a content creator before I met her because Carter told her. She didn't know of me, but Carter explained to her who I was. Well, she's always been, ever since I met her, like, so, oh my gosh, like she always like oogles and googles and goggles and whatever over me, and like just talks so highly of me, and just kind of is one of those girls, like very charismatic, but it's like very fake. It's like very like not authentic. Like she's just trying, and I don't think she's like looking for like clout or anything, but I don't know what it is, but the energy has always been weird. And then Carter started working, and she's always been kind of weird to him. Like her energy is just a little bit like, I don't know, something's like not right. She's so nice and she means well, like nothing's wrong with her, but you know when you just get a vibe? Well, Carter goes to this dinner, and I don't know how they were talking about it, and it was just associates. But this was the first red flag. Number one. Oh, and she always asks about like what I'm doing. She always asks Carter, and she like has always mentioned that she has a friend who's an influencer. I don't know who it is, but like she always talks to Carter. Like she very much is in the world. And when Carter first started, she had mentioned that she wants to do legal work in the influencer space, like contracts and stuff, because obviously with brand deals, there's so many contracts behind the scenes. And therefore, like she talked about her friends that do it. And like she was very in the know. But then it's like, for example, again, I don't want to sound so fucking annoying, but like I signed with the DBA, my new management, who is Chef's Kiss. And honestly, my manager is just like literally going to become my best friend. I already feel like she is. Sorry, Jillian, if you're listening, like I just announced that you are my best friend. Sorry, not sorry. However, when Carter mentioned that, like she'll claim to like know a lot about the space, but then she's like, wait, who's the DBA? And it's like, okay, but if you know the space, you know who the DBA is. Like they're the biggest. And like, there's just this weird, like she'll be like super like, oh, but then she kind of has to like put you down a notch, like that kind of energy. So for example, Carter said like the ring got brought up, or people were talking about our engagement or like our elopement or like what's going on. And she like very loudly, you know, goes, isn't her ring moissanite? Which like, I have nothing against moissanite. If you don't know, moissanite is a kind of stone that looks kind of similar to a diamond. Like I think it's clear-ish, but it's like a very much less expensive stone. It's just like not a diamond. And obviously I have a lab diamond. Like I'm not here to stick my nose up, but like she wasn't saying like, what was the reason behind you saying that? And Carter was like, number one, you literally saw the ring with your own eyes. He brought it into the office the day that he got it because he went in the middle of the day to pick up my ring, and he wasn't going to leave it in his car, obviously. And therefore he showed everybody in the office the ring prior to us getting engaged. She saw it with her own eyes. He told her, obviously, because she's very nosy about that kind of thing. And like, she just gives that energy. Like she pretends to like love me, but I feel like there's like maybe not envy, and I don't want to be like, oh, she's so jealous of me, because of what the fuck is there to be jealous of? But there's just a weird energy. I can't explain it. The fact that she said that at the dinner, like something like, but isn't it more like, and Carter's like, number one, bitch, you saw it with your own eyes. You know it's not. And two, like, even if it was, like, why are you saying that? Right? Strike number one. Strike number fucking two. Right? Because they go on about, you know, she always asks about what I'm up to, and, you know, Carter talks me up, and she like was talking about it, how it's amazing, but she just like respects her privacy too much. Like she could never do it. And Carter's like, don't you like actually post your family online? Like, don't you already do that as like a regular person? Like, what do you, I get it. Like Carter's like, I actually have no social media and am a private person, and there's nothing of me online. You, on the other hand, like you post your family, you do the Christmas, like she very much posts a little bit, and it's like, whatever, right? But then what did she say? Oh, Carter knows that I love Pookie and Jet. And so he brought them up. He's like, you guys could be like Pookie and Jet because she's married. And like her husband, they're amazing. He's phenomenal. And she literally goes, oh my gosh, like, ew, like I hate them. And then she goes, Pookie, or wait, she said something like, let me get this right. She's like, that girl used to be a flight attendant. I'm sorry. What the fuck? Is that an insult? Like, I don't even understand what you're saying. If that's not like the most elitist, weird bullshit, what do you mean okay, that's incredible. And that's what Carter said. He's like, isn't that amazing? Like, she was a flight attendant and now she's fucking racking in the cat. Like, what do you mean? Like, she was saying it as if it's an insult. And like, Carter was kind of like caught off guard. Like, what do you mean? Okay. Yeah, she was a flight attendant. And that's a job. It's a good job. You get to travel. Like, what are we talking about? So like, that was actually, when I think about it, there were like a few things that he said. And the most disrespectful to me was like her talking badly about Pookie and Jet because I love them. Like every time I've been seeing them on my page, I think about her and I'm like, that bitch. How dare she? How dare she? Because I think they're presh. Like, I think they're amazing. And like the flight attendant comment, like that, I always knew there was a weird energy, but there's just like clearly some sort of, I don't know, again, envy or just like weird, nasty, thoughts happening or just kind of like elitist and like, I don't know, something going on there. That was interesting. She also then shared a story. Again, I'm going to get in so much fucking trouble if anybody ever hears these things. Oh God, if she heard, it's a risk I'm willing to take. There was also a story told about people that these people know that were at a different law firm of an infidelity situation, a partner having sex with an associate after hours and the wife finding out and not leaving him and so much tea. The reason I'm saying this is because I got home from La Soul House and Carter said he was going to be home before me. I got home at like 7:30. I'm like, hey, he's like, our food literally hasn't come out yet. I'm like, what the fuck? He ends up getting home at 10. But when I tell you, he like ran in the door and was like, babe, I have so much fucking tea for you. Carter is really just one of the girls. Like, he's all in on the gossip. He would never share gossip, but like when other people have tea, he's all about it. Well, he tells me this story and like, then we start talking about infidelity and cheating. And I always make it known. I said, babe, if that were me, I would leave so fast and I would chop your balls off. And I just want to make that clear. Like every time I like say a little bit more, and this is what's upsetting to me. I think I mentioned this in a TikTok, maybe. When was I talking about this? It's not even so much as like, oh, I talked about this on the podcast. That's literally coming out on Monday. I literally spoke about this on the podcast. I'm like, bitch, you've said so many words on so many different platforms. Where did you say this out? It's upsetting to me because also my ego is so goddamn big. Like, even if I loved Carter with all of my heart, as I was saying that, I do love Carter with all my heart. But no matter how much I love Carter, if there was infidelity that happened, my ego, like there's a part of me that says like I would want to work it out because I love him so much, but my ego would be the thing that would make me leave. Like literally, I have such a goddamn big ego, and the thought of me staying with a man that cheated and then like other people know, because that's the thing, like this whole partner affair associate thing, he ended up leaving the firm. Obviously it was like this big scandal, but the wife stayed with him and she goes to these events with him, and it's like every single person knows that he did that and had this affair. And like I could never be that bitch. Like I could never stand next to Carter. Like it would be horrible and heartbreaking, and obviously there's so much more to it, but like the ego part is what I'm like honing in on. I could not stand next to a man that cheated on me and everybody knows. Like I would be so fucking embarrassed, and that alone would make me leave. So I said, Carter, I know you would never. I know you hate when I go into this place, but anytime we start talking about it, like I can't help but put myself in the shoes, and I'm like, I just could never. Like I would be gone the second I learned. No. Okay. But anyways, let's keep moving. That's all the tea that I had there. I literally had a story prepared because I thought I was going to have enough to talk about today, but I literally spent two 15-minute segments or 30 minutes on 2 bullet points in my notes app. What the fuck? Anyway, it was also Father's Day last weekend. I called Gordy, and what I wanted to tell you guys and what the story prompted from, I want to tell you guys about me going to Buffalo with my brother, my dad, and Pam, and like what ended my bowling career, because those words coming out of my mouth, you're like, bitch, what do you mean what ended your bowling career? You all know, I would imagine, I used to be like a professional bowler essentially as a child. I was a child protege, and I'm not even fucking kidding. I say that so humbly. And there was a trip where a lot of shit transpired and it broke my heart in two, and it's what like made me hate bowling and decide not to do it in college. And I had this story prepared, but I feel like it's going to be an hour long. If I can sit and talk about social clubs for 15 fucking minutes, not that I meant to do that, this story is going to take a long time. But the thing that brought that up is Gordy, my grandfather. I called him on Father's Day. I texted my dad. I called Gordy just because I feel like it's a little bit more special, and I feel like, I don't know, maybe I should have called my dad, but I just feel like we're so awkward on the phone. I'm like, hey dad, love you. The only time I ever call him is when I have car issues. And therefore, then when I call him for other things, I'm like, what's going on? I don't know. We're just not phone call people. Or maybe I need to do better. I was thinking about this, but I called Gordy. And like, that's a quick and short and easy. I always call LaDonna every week. Like, obviously, we have an hour or 2 or 3 long phone call about once a week, maybe every 2 weeks, depending on what's going on. And Gordy will like chime in the background, but he knows I'm around, and LaDonna obviously tells him everything after, I'm sure, whatever. But I don't call Gordy that much, but only on like the special moments, or he'll call me every once in a while. Like he called me on my birthday. Well, his contact photo is Gramps. Well, his photo is of him, this cute little photo I have of him in a hot air balloon, but his name, it says Gramps. And then it's the emoji of the girl, and then she's holding her arms in an X. Y'all, when I was a bowler, right, my grandparents came to like every tournament that they could, and Gordy would stand in the way back, like behind everybody. Because here's the thing, when you bowl, you know, the bowlers are all on the floor. So you have the part where you sit, and then the approach and so on. And then there's like a ledge, and then there's always like countertops, essentially at most of the bowling alleys. Like this is how they are, which when I think about Gordy at the bowling alley, it's like my home bowling alley. There's like a bar situation where like watchers can sit and watch, and then people stand behind them, obviously, and there's like a path back there so you can go down, because my bowling alley had like 52 lanes. It was pretty big, but Gordy would always stand in the way back. And again, not to toot my own horn, I was really fucking good. I obviously bowled a lot of strikes, and every single time I'm not kidding, every single time I would go up, I would bowl. If I got a strike, you know, I turn around and I would see Gordy in the back, and he would put his arms in an X. It was so fresh. And I don't know, at some point during that, this emoji came out, because this emoji wasn't always around, but it's like the girl with the X. Does it have a man with an X? I guess I just put a girl because it's like me, but it's my grandfather. And it just really brought me back. I'm like, wow, they really were just like always there. And Gordy in specific, like we barely speak any words. Like Gordy is a man of very, very, very few words. However, he is supportive in that he's there, and those little X's, like that was so sweet of him. He would just sit back there and he'd be like giggling, like putting his hands in an X. Anywho, I don't know why that was relevant. Next, electrolyte. Thank you guys for all the love on my electrolyte post. A lot of you were like, Carter took this photo. I'm like, oh, the podcast, they know. Honestly, you guys remind me. Oh my gosh, I posted that I started the winter garden. I posted a photo of the book, and one of you commented back. It was like, you know that this isn't the photo we want to see, referring to Carter's ass. I was dying it again at first. I'm like, wait, what is she talking about? And then I'm like, oh my, it took it like me a while to click. I'm like, oh my gosh. I love you guys. I was dying. But anywho, what else happened? Me and Carter toured some townhomes, and this is kind of stressing me out, and we're still early, you guys. Like there was one that we enjoyed that we wanted to apply to, but it's available now, and our realtor reached out to their realtor, and they were hoping for like a 15-day move, meaning like from now to 15 days, which only puts us at the beginning of July. And our lease isn't up until August 4th. And she's like, a lot of them are that way. I don't know why they do it this way with like such a quick turnaround. Oh my God, you guys. The very first townhome we toured, okay, we are walking in and our realtor tells us, she said, there are girls living in here. There are people, but they told them we have a 5:30 appointment. Therefore, we can get in and look, which when I lived in North Dakota, this is how all of the tours were. Like if you wanted to see the place you were going to live, like people were living there at the time. I know it's strange, but Carter was like so upset by it. Like he just doesn't want to, he always like thinks about like, he doesn't want people invading our privacy and space. And therefore he didn't want to walk into somebody's home. Like the second we walked in, I could tell his energy. He just like didn't like it. And I'm like, babe, just like look at the townhome. Like it doesn't matter. They're allowing us to be here. This is how they're doing it. But he just like was so like, he didn't want to go into the bedrooms. And like, I get it. That's a wonderful, sweet thing. Like he's so respectful and just like didn't want to invade. Not that they were there. Well, here's the thing. We go in and of course Carter immediately is looking at the garage because the garage is the one thing that he's worried about because he wants to do the home gym. Well, he's standing in there and I go in with Melissa, our realtor, because I'm like, I don't give a shit about the garage. And we're walking up the stairs. Well, all of a sudden Carter kind of comes in quickly and he's like, somebody just opened up the garage and is like driving in. And he's like, I was just standing there. So I ran in. Well, we come up the stairs and Melissa was like, well, they know, like they were told we were coming. We have this appointment. And again, like he's very kind of just like on edge. Well, this girl walks in and Melissa like kind of not confronts her, but was just like, hey, like we have a tour. I'm sorry. And she's like, oh, like she's coming up the stairs. She's like, my roommate didn't tell me. She's like, but no problem. And she comes up and the second she looks at me, she's staring at me for like a little bit longer than like a person would. And she kind of looks and then she starts talking. She was like so sweet. And then she's like, can I just go grab something in my room? And we're like, of course. And as she's going by, she's like, oh my gosh, I follow you on TikTok. Like I was literally watching your TikToks this morning. And there is like, it's so weird, you guys. But now that I've done this, when I get a look from a person and they look a certain way or for a certain length, I can tell that they recognize me to some extent, and not in a weird like, oh, I'm so famous way, but just in like, I'm on social media and I make posts, and obviously I talk to girls mainly in our age range. Therefore, anytime I see a girl that looks like she's anywhere from 18 to 40, right? Because that's my main demo. I'm just like, the odds of you seeing my face because you've been through a breakup or something is pretty high, right? But when she saw me, I just like knew. And then when she came around, she's like, oh my gosh. And I'm like, hi. I'm like, so nice to meet you. We're touring your apartment. Like, I'm so sorry. And then she told us that she really likes it. The neighbors have been amazing. Like she talked very highly of it. Again, I'm so annoyed, and like Carter just gets like so hung up on certain things, and like he really wasn't taking it all in. Like I don't think he saw either of the bathrooms because he didn't want to like step into their rooms, and they were kind of dirty, like not dirty, but like they had stuff around. They live in this house, and I get it, but I'm like, babe, like we need to look at this. Like this, it was a cute fucking townhome, but anyways, he's like, if we live there, we're putting in the contract that people aren't coming into our apartment. I'm like, yes, babe, but like, he goes to these places and then he like stews and that's all he can think about. And I'm just like, babe, like just focus on what's at hand. And like, I don't know. I just feel like I'm so easygoing and he's just so much more like high strung kind of. And I'm like, I just don't want, and like, that was the very first one. And it just like put him in a weird, and he's like, are other ones going to be lived in? I'm like, babe, if that's what it is, that's what it is. Like, I'm a person, like, I get it. It's not ideal. Yes, it's kind of weird being in somebody's home, but like, this is just how it's going. Like, clearly this happens. It's fine. But he's just like not that way. Like, he just kind of gets like in a weird place. Oh my gosh. Well, we pulled up to another one and I was turning right, and then it was going to be right there. And I was turning on to like, it's called Fitzhugh. It's a road and it's just a 2-lane, but there's nobody coming towards, I'm turning right. So I'm just staying here. Well, I look to the left, nobody's coming, and it's a stop sign, and I just turn. Well, the people coming our direction, obviously they're on the other side of the road, but somebody was hauling ass and they were like passing in the lane that I'm driving on, like clearly erotic. Like they just should not be passing. Like it's a very tight road. It's very busy. So I turned and I didn't look right because I wasn't like crossing any traffic, and maybe that was my bad, but this guy was hauling ass and he was like passing somebody on the left where like you shouldn't be passing. And Carter's like, babe. And like, it wasn't close. And like, they got back in line. I mean, I understand because it was on his side. It was scary. But then again, like he was so shaken up by that. Like we went into the door and we just kept meeting Melissa at everyone. And he's like, we almost just got killed on the road. And he just gets so uptight. Oh my gosh. Again, last night he gets home and he had gone to the grocery store and he got me some, it's actually right next to me. He got me a Coke Zero Cherry, my favorite, because that's what he does when he fills the gas. But he said when he was in there, he asked a guy, like he said, excuse me, because he wanted to reach and grab our little drinks. And this guy, like, the gas station next to us is like notorious for, again, I don't want to be mean or insensitive, but like homeless people. And I feel like in cities, that's just like kind of where they park at because there's so many people and they're asking for money and so on and so forth. Well, there was a man and he said, excuse me to him to like get to the drinks. And this guy, like, I don't know if he was on drugs. I don't know. I wasn't there, but Carter was like, he like kind of scuffed and like started saying stuff to me. And then Carter got the drinks and then went to the checkout. And then the guy came over to him again and was like trying to like talk to Carter. And he was like annoyed with him that he like said, excuse me. I don't know. But the second, you guys, it's like so easy for me to detect. He walked in the door. I said, hey babe, hi, how are you? And I could just tell immediately like something was off. Either something happened during his day. Like I don't know, but like his energy was weird. And I'm like, what's going on with you right now? Like, did you not have any work today or did something happen? Like, what's going on? And he's like, no, I was just at the gas station and like this guy like was giving me a hard time. And I just like said, excuse me. And again, we're literally like, Carter's like, do you want to go on a walk? We have this little like conversation. I'm like, yes. He gets on his stuff. We're on the walk. We're still like, you guys, 20 minutes later. And I'm like trying to conversate with him. And he's like, oh, I'm still just like, I'm like going through the scenario and like that guy bothering me and like what I would have done differently next time. Like he kind of, I don't know what that is, but he kind of like spirals in a way. And anyways, this is just like a little quirk of his. It's fine. But sometimes I'm like, babe, just like, again, it's so silly. And this is what happens at airports. Like he'll get worked up about people not using like common courtesy, which I get is so fucking annoying, but like it takes over, right? Oh my gosh. Like the parking situation, y'all, it's like, I can't let things like this, like, I just like, okay, yeah, it's not ideal, but like, let's keep it moving. It's funny because Carter overall, like when things happen, they brush off of him in like a day. Like, for example, I don't know, let's say we got in an argument. Let's say we had like a weird conversation about something or something not fun or like, oh my gosh, last weekend we kind of like, I had a mental breakdown essentially because I'm realizing I'm in this apartment every single day of my life and I never leave, right? Like I film content here. I don't have an office. I don't go anywhere. That's just my reality. Well, Carter's in the office Monday through Friday every single day of his life. And when the weekend rolls around, and I've told you, we've had this problem where we don't know what the fuck to do in Dallas. It's hot. We have no money. Not that we don't have any money, but we just are not wanting to spend the money, which actually, you guys, we broke $100,000 on the loans and we're going to hit $16,000 for these 3 months. God bless. I'm so proud of us. Anywho. Okay. This is where we're at. And we've had this like situation and we talk about going to Topgolf and then it doesn't happen. And then I get annoyed, but then I'm trying to respect that Carter is in an office all day, every day doing like strenuous kind of work. And like, he's busy doing things. Therefore, when Carter wants to like lay on the couch, like I have free will during the week, I can go out on walks. I can do things. I can go to the mall. I can literally do whatever I want and he can't. Therefore, on the weekends, like if he's not making an initiative to do something, I'm like, okay, he must not want to, like he must want to relax. And I want to give him that. Like I get that, which I do need to speak up and make sure my needs are met, but like it's not that big of a deal, right? And like I know in a few months, like we are going to chill out on the loans and we're going to have money. We're going to do like more fun things again. And we're going to Montana soon and we're going to do fun things, but it's just kind of like this weird little moment in time and it's hot as fuck out and whatever. Well, we go somewhere and I kind of had this spiral moment where I was like fed up because we had talked about doing this and this and we talked ourselves out of it and whatever. And I just kind of, I think was going stir crazy and kind of exploded. And anyways, so we had this like kind of hard conversation. Like Carter was like babe, I'm sorry. Like, I need to make more of an initiative. I've just been so stressed with work and this and that. And I'm like, I've been trying to respect that. But it was like a not fun conversation. Not that we really got into it, but we were just kind of like getting through this like weird, both of us were feeling weird. And I don't know. Anywho, Carter like lets that go in an hour. Like, he doesn't hold a grudge to anybody, like at all, really, ever. Like, there are things that have happened in the past. Like, we've had these weird things with his family, and like, he'll forget about it the next day. He's really good about that. But in the moment, that's why it's this weird thing where like in the moment he can get a little bit worked up, but then it's like gone. Whereas I feel like I'm like good in the moment. I go with the flow. I let things roll off my back. But if like something deeply like hurtful happens or like big or whatever, I hold on to it for a little bit. Not that like I'm ruminating, but like things don't roll off my back in the long term for me. But in the moment, I'm easy to like go with the flow. Does that make sense? I don't know. I'm not even sure why the fuck I'm going in and in and in about this. Let's move on. What was I talking about in the first place? Oh, the townhome tours. Anyways, we're just kind of fucking stuck because the townhomes that we're seeing are available now. I think we're just going to have to wait a little bit longer, and that's fine. Y'all, I did want to talk about something way back in the day when we first went over our finances. I wanted to cut down, like, what are we paying for that we don't need to? Or like, what are the subscriptions that we have that we don't need? And I was getting ads for Spotify Premium Duo, where it's like being a household Spotify and it's cheaper. Well, I went ahead and deleted my Spotify Premium, and then I asked Carter that day to join our Duo. Like, let's make a combined account. That way we're spending less money, even though it's not that much money. Why would we not do that? Well, he does not know his login. He does not know his password. He does not know. And to be honest, I had to do a lot of work to figure mine all out too, because I made my Spotify account like in high school, right? And I get that. But like, he has no idea, and it's attached to an old email, and there's no way to recover. And therefore, like, we literally just can't change it. Like, I don't know what we do. But for the past couple of months, I've been living my life without Spotify Premium, which means ads, and which means you can't choose the songs that you want to listen to. I finally had enough. And here's the other thing. I feel like my music has not been great lately. I feel like in the past few years, like, I haven't listened to as much music as I used to. And I don't know if that's like, I'm not really sure why. Maybe it's because I don't drive as much anymore, or like, I don't know, songs just aren't hitting like they used to. But that's why I also justified, like, I don't need premium because I hadn't been listening to music that much. But the very few times that I would listen to like 2 songs, I'd get an ad, and then I couldn't pick the songs that I wanted. But if you skip a song, then you'll get an ad. And I finally, a week ago, bought premium again, which is like literally $11.99 a month, and it has changed my life. Like, I've been listening to music again. I've been clicking the songs. I've had no ads. It's been amazing. And I want to reiterate the fact that like these little luxuries are so important in life. Like, I didn't realize how annoying the Spotify thing was to me until I re-got it. Like, I feel like I had to go through that. I feel like I had to do the non-Spotify premium to open my eyes to the fact that like there are some things that are worth the money. Like, there are some things that add joy to my life, and that was Spotify premium. Like, I've been listening to music on my walks again, although now that I'm running, I haven't been going on as many walks, which, y'all, yesterday I had sprints. I had 3 400-meter sprints. Okay. It's working in my training plan because this is kind of like the speed work. I think there's like a few weeks of where I'll have track workout. So I think next Wednesday it'll be 4 400 meters. Then the next one it's 5 400 meters. And then I think I might do like 2 800s the next. Anyways, it's to work on your speed and just like your aerobic fitness, anaerobic, what the fuck ever. Right? I have not been this sore. And y'all, I was running slow. I ran each of my 400s at a minute 50. Right? I'm pretty sure that like Usain Bolt runs them in 40 seconds. Not that I'm Usain Bolt, but like I think a normal person could maybe sprint them at like a minute 20, right? Or like maybe me in my prime as like an 18-year-old. But again, I'm not an 18-year-old. I need to remember that. I forget sometimes. But like my hamstrings and my calves, this was literally yesterday morning. I went on a walk this morning to like loosen up. It was like a 5-mile walk, I think, but I'm struggling. However, the running plan is going well, and I'm not sure how we got here. What else happened this week? Oh, something that happened with the townhome. Oh my gosh. Melissa, the realtor, the day before we were going on the tours, I was like, do you want me to send you some that I want to look at? Which I had already met with her and she had a good idea of what we were looking for. And so the day before, she sent me 5 that we were going to go to. And she's like, the first one is a house. I know it's a little bit far. You know, I know you guys want to be close to the city. Let me know what you think. If you don't want to do any of these, let me know. Immediately I pull up the house and I'm like, nope, Carter would not want to live this far away. And I gave it like a few hours and then I texted her back and I said, hey, I sent these over to Carter. I did not send them over to Carter. And I said he doesn't like the house, like it's too far from what he wants. And of course she's like, no worries, no problem. But then the day before we were going to the townhomes, or yeah, the day of, I picked him up at work and I was like, babe, if she mentions the house, just know that I told her that you said it was too far. And he's like, babe, what the fuck? And I'm like, what? You would have thought it was too far. Like, it is something that you would say. So I just want you to know that I did lie, but like kind of on your behalf. Therefore, if something gets brought up, just know that I said that. Okay, what else has happened? I finished The Family Remains by Lisa Jewell, the book. Oh my gosh, that was amazing. I literally could not put it down. And especially after reading ACOTAR, I'm like, oh my gosh, I forgot what this feels like. Like I had such a hard time picking it up, putting it down, picking it up, putting it down. And that book, I was like, oh, I need to read apparently the first one, The Family Upstairs. Loved that. And now, which I'm not sure if this was the right decision, I'm reading The Winter Garden by Kristen Hanna, and it's going to be amazing because Kristen Hanna is that gal, right? However, her stories are like real stories and like historical fiction. And I feel like I'm missing like the mystery. Like I needed a few more mystery books. But anyways, I am loving it. I'm already going through it. It started out so sad already. That's the thing. The only books that have ever made me cry are Kristen Hanna books. And immediately there's like a death. And I'm like, crying. I'm like, why the frick do we do this to ourselves? Like, why do we enjoy reading things that make us cry? I'm not really sure. The thing that I've been dying to talk to you guys about, even though I have nothing to add because I'm not watching, is Love Island. I keep seeing things about Love Island and I learned that it's on Peacock. Do people really have Peacock or do people just buy it to watch this? And is it really that good that you should buy Peacock to watch it? I'm not really sure. Maybe I can get a free trial and watch it this weekend, but I'm so behind. Like I've never watched Love Island, but it's the same thing like The Bachelor. I love Love is Blind. I love, Temptation Island. I just watched for the first time this season. And what other reality shows? You guys know the ones that I watch. However, I haven't seen a lot of like the mainstream ones. Like I've never really seen The Bachelor. When I was really young, my mom would watch it and I would see bits and parts, but that was like so long ago. Now I haven't. And actually, oh my gosh, there's this girl in Dallas and she asked me to come on her podcast and I think that I'm going to. And what I've gathered, I have no idea who she is, but she was on The Bachelor and the only reason I know this guy is because he does like dating content and he has a podcast and he interviews people and he interviews like, Secret Lives of Mormon Wives. Nick Vile, he was apparently a bachelor and she was on his season. I don't know how long she made it. Her name is Alexis, but she seems hysterical. And she messaged me one day and she's like, bitch, your stuff is so funny. And I just realized you're in Dallas. Like, will you please come on my podcast? I'm like, sure. But anyway, I don't think I've really watched anything this week, if I'm being honest. We've watched a lot of YouTube. Did we watch anything last weekend? No. Now, coming up this weekend, what do we have going on Monday? Maydog has a follow-up for her post-dental, and it'll just kind of be like also her back, the whole situation. We're finally finishing up the drugs. well, in a few days. And I learned that the shot that we're injecting into her, when we went and got her teeth done, the vet said that, because Carter asked, he was like, is this something we're going to have to do for like ever, you know, or do you recommend? And she's like, well, actually, this is the loading period. Therefore, you do it twice a week for 4 weeks. And then it's just a monthly shot. And I'm like, oh, nice. But that one is what I think is like a lubricant for her like spine and stuff. And I think it really is good for her. And then I still have a few like pills that she's finishing up. Oh my God, you guys, tonight I will have more on my story because I have to. However, I'm going to this event and I'm really excited about it. Number one, because I want to get more info from them. It's a company called Cheap Caribbean, and basically they specialize in like cheap Caribbean trips, and not even cheap. Like, I think they have everything on there, but it's like a place where they do everything for you. Like, you can get flights, you can get the hotel, and I know they have like payment plans, and it sounds like they have a lot of cool like deals. And you know how like travel agents have like the ins? It's similar to how like realtors have the ins with like houses and management companies and all of that. Like travel agents do too, and sometimes they can get you discounts. Let me actually pull up, that way I'm not spreading misinformation as one does. Cheap Caribbean. I put the Cheap Caribbean because I don't want to misinform. And by the time you're watching this, you'll have already seen, I'm going to post the stories tonight, but I do want to talk about it here because I'm going to ask them about Carter and I's elopement. I want to hear like their favorite islands and what they know, because I'm imagining if they work for Cheap Caribbean, well, maybe not because they're the marketing girlies, they'll know some things or maybe have been on trips. Where is the About Us section? That's what I want to know. Since 2000, and that's what tonight is. It is a birthday party because it's their 25th year, you know, of Cheap Caribbean. And the attire, y'all, and this part is fucking killing me. It's birthday themed. What the fuck does that mean? That's the only part where I'm really, you know, at a toss up. They said, wear what you would wear to a birthday. I'm sorry. Typically birthdays have themes. Or like, you know, from the restaurant. It's at XOXO Dining, which is actually like this artsy fartsy, like such an Instagram moment. Like the building itself is like bright fucking pink. I used to see it a lot. Like girls would post about it. I've never been, and I'm really excited to see it. Oh my gosh. Actually, this is so tea. And I don't even know if I've ever talked about this. My best friend Natalie lived with a girl who, I don't remember how she met her. I think in like the art space, because, you know, Natalie's a dancer and she works at Joffrey. And then this girl, basically, she does like, I don't know, she has like multiple jobs, but one of her jobs is like being a performer for like the aerial arts, or like, what do you call that? The aerial show, like when they're up in like the draped, you know, like, wow, what is that called? Like aerial yoga, you know, when you have like the sling and like their bodies, like they're high up, and like sometimes they use like I was gonna say an umbrella, a hula hoop, but like oftentimes it's that cloth and they like spin and like do stuff, you know, you guys know what I'm talking about, whatever the fuck that's called. This girl does that. Well, let me tell you two things. This girl, oh my gosh, Natalie lived with her for like a year, and it was like in an apartment, like condo situation that her parents owned, and Natalie paid rent, but like, I don't remember what happened, but this girl was just like not a good roommate, and she was like so entitled and so selfish, and like they weren't really that good of friends, which is like why she thought it would be a good thing, because it's better to live with somebody you're not good friends with. I don't remember like what the events were that happened, but basically Natalie moved out, and like this girl's mom sent Natalie a text like, you're so ungrateful, and da 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 da. Like this girl's mother, right? This girl who's our age, you know, in our mid-20s, sent Natalie like a nasty text about like, we let you live here and you've been such a bad friend, and da da da. And like, again, I'm biased because it's Natalie, but like, no, this girl's crazy. And this is how I know this. I met this girl maybe like 3 times tops. Let's say 3 times tops. I'm not kidding. And like one of the times I spent maybe like an hour with her. I remember I went to see Natalie and we just invited her down to the pool with us, but we were there for like an hour. The other 2 times, if it was even 2 or 1, it was like in passing. Well, she followed me on Instagram. This was way back in the day. This was like in 2020, maybe 2019. No, 2020 or 2021. She followed me. Well, every single day, and I barely know this girl. I followed her back because that's what I used to do. But every single day she would post a photo of her doing like her aerial whatever. Like these super like, I don't know. And like, I just didn't really know her, and she posted a lot and I just like didn't want to see it anymore. And I unfollowed her because I barely fucking knew her. I had met her like 3 times. And I think this was towards the end. Like Natalie was going to move out. They weren't really friends. I was like, I'm never going to see this bitch again. And if I do, hello, hi, like who gives a shit? I unfollow her, and I'm literally not kidding. Like, I don't remember how long after. It was like a few days, a day after. I get a message from her. Mind you, I do not know this bitch. I've spent maybe an hour with her tops, but it was like through Natalie. Like, yeah, we were obviously all talking because it was the 3 of us, but like, I don't know this person. She messaged me and was like, hey Brenna, I noticed that you unfollowed me and I was just curious, like, did I say something that offended you or did I post something? Like this like long ass message. And I don't know if I responded, or I think I might have, and like been a little bit sassy, like not sassy, but like, bitch, I barely know you and I'm probably not going to really see you again. And like, that's it. You know, I don't remember what I answered, but I remember sending it to Natalie. And then when all of the shit transpired, I'm like, this girl is like in a different world. And anywho, the reason I'm bringing that up is because she used to perform at this XOXO dining because they have the aerial bitches there. Like that was one of her jobs. And I talked to Natalie and I'm like, do you think she's going to be there? And she's like, probably. And I'm dying. But anyways, it seems like a huge venue. It looks pretty big. And yeah, it's like this dinner. I don't know who's going to be there. But okay, wait, who we are. Since 2020, we've helped budget beach travelers find unbeatable deals on all-inclusive vacays because we firmly believe paradise shouldn't come with a hefty price tag. With over 5 million customers and counting, we know a thing or two about making tropical daydreams a reality. We make booking flights, resorts, transfers, and excursions a breeze so you can focus on the important stuff. Basically, they're like a travel agency, which I honestly will probably use them if we go to one of the Caribbeans, because why wouldn't I? And that's what I'm excited to talk to them about. And it's so funny that it happened. Like they just reached out to me. Obviously, Jillian answers my emails, but she was like, hey, this like company reached out and they want you to come to this thing. I'm like, oh my gosh, amazing. Like that's actually perfect timing because I've been looking into all of this Caribbean stuff. I'm really excited about that. I have no literal clue what I'm going to wear. What do you wear to a birthday? Me and Jillian have been dying about that. She's like, yeah, I'm not really sure what that means. I'm like, okay. And like the theme of XOXO dining is like, it's like everything is a bright ass pink. Like I don't know what the vibe is. Like I've seen girls post photos there like dressed to the nines, but it's also like not that, it's not like bougie in any way. I don't know. Anywho, that's what's going on. Also, I think I'm finally going to see Natalie on Friday. I think we're going to do a pool day because she has the day kind of off, I believe, and I haven't seen her. And then what else? I think that's literally it. Today am going to go through and add more things to Poshmark. You guys, we went through Carter's clothes and I added his stuff on Poshmark, and he thinks he's going to get like $1 million because it is nice stuff. We put Viore stuff and we put Lululemon stuff. Well, we get an offer, y'all, for a pair of pants and a shirt, which yes, when he bought it, and the pants are like brand spanking new. Carter has gained some weight. He needs to quit eating the burritos from the taco stand. I mean, he doesn't need to stop. He's fine. But like, we literally just bought all these pants and they're already too small. They do not fit. We went and got 4 pairs last weekend. Don't even get me started. However, they're brand new, and like, the shirt and the pants combined are like at least $200, but like we're putting them like half price. And then Poshmark takes a percentage and he's like, what are we getting for that? Like $100? I said 40. He said, what the fuck? He said, these people are stealing these clothes. I said, I could donate them. He's like, no, sell them. I'm like, okay, that's what I thought. Like, let's try and at least get a dime for something that's nice and barely worn. But anyways, because I know that we're moving. I've talked about this 100 times. I would just like want to get rid of stuff. Therefore, I'm donating. I don't really have a lot of my own stuff on Poshmark. I think I have a few shoes that I like really have never worn, and then maybe a dress or two, but I'm going to keep going through my clothes because I just like want to clear out. Like I just want to declutter my whole entire life. Other than that, okay, we have some write-ins. I think that's all I had. Okay, let me go to the write-ins and we'll see what you guys are needing help with, or your hilarious freaking stories. Okay. My fiance and I have been together for a year and a half. We started dating December 2023 and got engaged in November 2024, and everything was great. His family loved me. Our kids have always gotten along. My family loves him. Everything was just going so well. However, Christmas time came around and his mom kept saying that she wanted us to get married the first week of January. Sorry, bitch, that's not your choice. But anywho, we didn't want to do a big thing, just a courthouse and then a party later. Well, with the chaos of Christmas and a death in the family, I told him I wanted to push the wedding. Well, against me, his mom... Well, his mom took that personally. She took it upon herself to tell his whole family I left him and has turned them all against me? What, because you didn't want to have a wedding on a certain day? It's not her wedding. Wait, what? Instead you left him? His mom runs his whole family. They do whatever she says. My fiance has gone along with it, and to his family, we've been broken up since January. Y'all are engaged. What do you mean he's going along with it and telling his family y'all aren't together when you... What? Dysfunction, 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 dysfunction. What the fuck? Dysfunction. Dysfunction. Sorry. Anywho. We've never broken up and are still together every day. My family thinks everything is fine and has no idea I'm a secret from his family. What do you mean? Being kept a secret is killing me. I need him to be honest and tell his mom we're together, but he won't. I feel stuck and don't know what to do. Tell that man to tell his mother. And like, but also, girlfriend, why the fuck would he go along with that? And why does this mom run the life? You need to, before you even marry this man, get that in check. Make sure there are boundaries, which I don't even know how you do this, but say, this is like so unacceptable. How do you go along? Like, his mom needs to be very firmly put in her place. And I just mean that in the fact that you need to get clear with your fiance that he will not allow his mom to run his life. What do you mean? You guys are literally engaged and you just like pushed the wedding because things were crazy and she got upset and then told everybody you left it? Like, what the fuck is going on? What are we talking about? What are we actually talking about? No. You need to sit down with him and get really clear on what the hell is going on. That's so odd. What do you mean? Because again, I see myself in this scenario. Let's say Carter's mom is psycho and said that. He would be like, bitch, what? He would immediately be like, no, we're together. We're just pushing it back. And like, that is on him to put his mom in his place. Like, there need to be boundaries. And I'm just telling you, and I don't mean to scare you, but I would think long and hard about marrying this man if like this is how deeply affected he is by his mother. Like, this is a big red flag in my opinion, something that I'm coming to learn as an adult woman. And what I would, you know, it's hard as a younger girl to really understand this because you want your partner to be, you know, close with his family. And there is a way to be close, but still not be run by your family. I think it's like a huge red flag when a man or a woman, whoever it is, cannot make decisions on their own or create boundaries with their family. And therefore, I would just ask you to think long and hard, but like, what are we talking about? Okay, next. Brenna, I need help. This is long, so sorry in advance. LOL. Also, I love your podcast. Please don't stop doing it. It's what gets me through the week. I want to keep anonymous, so I'll just use different names to represent people. I have this girlfriend, let's call her Jenny, 27, female, and this guy friend, let's call him John, 31, and I am 25-year-old female. Am a 25-year-old female. That was on me. We hung out, etc. Wait, oh my gosh, sorry. I can literally not read. We're all in school, master's program together, and the three of us were kind of a little group that were friends, we hung out, etc., including in group settings too, but we were all, the three of us, close. Well, me and John hit it off in the beginning, like 2 years ago, both fresh out of breakup, so you know it was awful timing, and we're a little hot and heavy, lol. We tried to be together, but turns out he found out he was going to be a dad like a month into us trying to be together. This was from an on and off again relationship prior to us being together, so I immediately cut that fling off, but we've actually been able to maintain being friends and have gotten really close. I love that. Okay. I think we both realized we were in a bad place when we tried to be together, and it was purely physical. LOL. Now, though, he's probably become one of my best friends in the school, and to be honest, I feel like in another life it could have worked, but it just won't now, and we both realized that. Feel free to call me out on this. I know it's a weird dynamic, lol, but truly it's so platonic now. There's healthy flirting, but I have not touched this man since 2023. No, I'm fine with it. I'm fine with it. Why would I have a problem with it? Maybe I'm delusional though, and it could play into this whole scenario. Okay, yeah, let's see. That's why I need your advice. Jenny and John had a falling out about 3 to 4 months ago when John caught her talking shit about him and other people, and John has strong boundaries, so he didn't want to be friends with her out of respect, or like it's a respect thing, but he never hassled me for remaining friends with her. Okay, great. It was a very awkward falling out because they both just had a mutual understanding they would no longer be friends. They're nice to each other in group settings when we needed, but nothing more. I truly think Jenny tries to be a good person and is so nice and funny to be around, but she does have a tendency to gossip, judge, etc. I've never heard of her talking shit about me, and we've maintained a good friendship. We even share each other's locations. Okay. Well, since the falling out, every time we're in a setting where all three of us are there, she subtly is standoffish to me. She'll look at me weird and judgy and won't talk to me unless I talk to her. She even will make sly comments about John and I's past in the presence of others just to embarrass me or him, I guess. Most of the time, people don't pick up on comments, but I do, and so does John. This doesn't make me feel great that we were a brief little thing like almost 2 years ago at this point, and we both moved past it, yet she still tries to bring it up or insinuate that there's something more between us. John has a full child now, still single, but a dad, and we were not together. I'm to the point where I don't know what to do. John and I have formed such a good friendship, and I consider Jenny a good friend, but it almost feels like I have to choose. I'm such a girl's girl and want to believe Jenny is a good friend, but Jenny doesn't support me in my friendship with John, and she makes me feel icky when she finds out I'm hanging out with him. Not even hanging out, really, just studying for school purposes only. It almost makes me feel like she might be jealous, but she's also told me she doesn't find him attractive at all, so I don't know. John doesn't really say much about my friendship with Jenny, but he's told me things that she's done to him that are such red flags in what I look for in a friend. Am I crazy to be friends with John considering the past? Is Jenny being a girl's girl? Girl's girl? Hello? Or is she a bad friend? Should I cut both of them off? I have no idea why this is tearing me up so bad, but I value friendship so much, so this is such a hard decision to cut off a friend. Anyways, this was so long, but love you and your real and honest advice. Bye. Love you. Here are my just like real and raw impressions. I don't think the friendship between you and John is weird. I think that can happen, and I think that's fine. You guys are in school. Here is what I'll say, and like I am kind of cynical and dark, but like you guys are friends strictly because essentially you are in school together. Like that's how you became friends. It's kind of like a proximity thing. It's like when you're friends with somebody in the workplace, which can be a true friendship and oftentimes are, but like we do need to consider that once you guys are done with this master's program, y'all are going to get jobs and go on into the real world. And therefore, I feel like the friendship could disperse anyways with either of them, depending on where you go, so on and so forth. I do feel like Jenny is she was the one in the wrong in the first place with John. She was talking shit about him, and I don't like that in general, right? When that was like her friend, I feel like that is a red flag. And I also feel like now the way that she's treating you is weird. Like, John doesn't make you feel bad or weird or give you weird vibes. He's like, y'all are very good and like fine. Jenny is very much the problem in this situation. So therefore, if you were to cut off a friend, I would cut off Jenny. Unfortunately, even though she is a girl, I just feel like that energy is so weird. And I think about this often. I had a friend who would oftentimes bring up my past and like guys that I had like kind of had flings with that like were, you know, like, what the fuck were you thinking? And would like joke about it. And it's like, okay, but that's like, it's like way in the past, and it would always make me feel weird. And like, it's funny, but then it's like, what is the reason for bringing this up? And like, I didn't like to think about that time. So like, if you don't want to cut her off, which I think you can have a conversation and just be like, hey, like these little comments, like if you guys are good friends, maybe when you guys are together, you can be like, it's not funny. And like, it's just weird. Like, why do you make those comments? Like, could you just please stop? If she is a good friend, I feel like she would, you know, because sometimes I don't think people realize they do it, right? Or like it's just a way they cope or like whatever, right? Or like make jokes. But I think if you bring it to her attention, number one, that would be my first step if like you want to keep the peace. But number two, if she keeps doing it or like has a weird reaction, I feel like Jenny kind of like, she doesn't have to go, but like I would just keep a distance maybe, because she's the one making you feel kind of weird about everything and just like being weird in group settings. John's being fine and y'all are fine. And like, I don't think it's weird. The only time I think it's kind of weird to stay friends with, number one, an ex, is when it was like a real relationship. Like, that is odd. And you're in a new relationship. Like, those are my big things. Like, if you're in a new relationship and then you dated a guy for 2 years but you guys are still close, that to me is like an emotional boundary that like I just don't vibe with. But like, we've all had, you know, like hookup scenarios, and again, I feel like you guys are in a master's program, so like the longevity of this relationship is like TBD anyways, right? Like, Carter, there were so many, I was just thinking about it. I passed this girl on the trail today and she had an SMU law shirt on, and I was thinking about all of Carter. Like, he had these girlfriends in law school. He has not spoken to them since, right? Like, maybe a text here and there. I guess, I don't know. I'm not monitoring him, but like, nobody's gotten together. He's gotten together with the guys, but I'm like, yeah. And they were good friends. Like, there were a few of them that he was close with because they had classes together, and then now they don't. Either they moved or they're all working, and like, that just happened. So I feel like, you know, also, once you're done with this, John as well, like, he has a full-on child, so you'll be working and he'll have a child. Like, it's just going to be hard in general. If you start dating somebody, I feel like these things will fizzle out as is, but I would maybe just have a conversation with her. But like, I don't think you should have to put yourself in uncomfortable positions like every single time you're with her and John. She's weird. Like, I just don't want a friend like that. Like, friends are, as much as we value friendships, like, I only value good friendships and like meaningful. Of course, you have like distant friends, like if it's just a group setting, whatever, but like that feeling of her needing you to say hi and like anything other than just like chilling is weird. So those are my thoughts. But no, I don't think it's weird that you and John are friends. And I think Jenny is something to be skeptical of, because of the way she treated John. Like, that was her friend and she was weird to her or him. Sorry. I literally just looked down here and I got a write-in. It literally only says in parentheses, commented on your live. Who the heck was I talking to? And that was it. Maybe they wrote the next one. Anyways, let's keep going. Haha, I submitted this wrong first. Sorry, bestie. Oh. If this isn't interesting enough, you don't have to read it. LOL. Oh, okay. That was accidentally submitted. Let's keep going. Buckle up, because I ignored red flags, but he was cute and had muscles and a mustache. Okay. So I, 28 female, matched on Bumble with this man, allegedly 28 male, and he used the feature where he messaged me first. So we started messaging and he asked me if I want to Snapchat, and I said, nope, and told him I don't like Snapchat as a form of communication because we're not in college. Yes, queen. I love that. He was fine with this and said we can text instead. So we started texting every single day. He's texting me good morning, good night, asking genuine questions about my day and sending words of affirmation and encouragement on my hard days and when he knew I had a hard run that morning. Long story short, he was a sweetheart and it seemed genuine. We eventually added each other on Snapchat, and I told him that I refused to let it be our main form of communication, but was fine sending just little pics throughout our days. So when he agreed, we were texting and snapping all day, every day. He respected my boundary with Snapchat and always answered my texts first, never tried to have convos on Snapchat, and would send me work pics that he couldn't send over text. He was in his FBI uniform. Okay. It turns out that the only thing he told the truth about was his job. I had family in town the 2-ish weeks after we matched, and then he went on vacation with his family for a week after that, and then he had family in town the next week, and then week 5 was Mother's Day. So we finally hung out the Friday of Mother's Day when we needed to get things from the mall. So we hung out at the bar after, and we were chatting. He couldn't look me in the eye most of the time, and I just felt my spidey senses starting to go off. I was getting weird gut feelings and anxious when I was talking to him the following days, so I Googled his phone number, which revealed that his name was not his name. His age was actually 35. And thanks to the Catfish show, I figured out how to find his lockdown Facebook by finding him on someone else's friends list. I'm insane. I know. No, you're not insane. We've all been there. This is how I found out that he had an ex-wife and 2 children. One passed away that he never mentioned ever. Ow! What the fuck? So to approach this, I text him and ask him if everything is okay because things felt off anyways, and he claimed that he went on a date with someone 2 days after my date with him and allegedly felt more with her and doesn't want to string me along and kept apologizing. Whatever, loser. When he told me this, I said, "Oh, wow, I thought it maybe had something to do with your fake name, but did not see this coming. I hope you find what you're looking for. Insert his real name here." That's iconic. But I'm so mad at myself for not telling him I knew about the wife and kids. He claimed that the name thing was because of wanting to be cautious with his job, and he wanted to tell me and would have if this progressed any further. My friends and I think that all 3 of us Googling his name at the same time several times probably alerted him that I was on to him, because anyone can set up Google alerts, and I'm sure someone in the FBI had alerts of their name on. One day after this, 3 days after Mother's Day, his ex-wife changed her profile pic to be with their daughter and her new boyfriend on the beach by his house. I put the pieces together and am pretty sure he felt guilty because he never mentioned the daughter, and after spending a whole weekend with his kid and ex, he suddenly was a whole different person. Oh my gosh. Then 2 weeks later, he fully deleted his Facebook. We checked from several accounts. I'm nosy, and now I want to know why he dropped off the face of the earth. LOL. But after he ended things, I fully crashed out because I thought I wasn't enough. And then I realized he was possibly crazy. Not possibly, he was crazy. And I don't want a relationship that started with lies. But he painted the perfect picture of our future, which was so hard to let go of that imaginary future. Anyways, your vids helped me get through this, and I'm back attempting to date again, but never ignoring even a yellow flag at this point. LOL, thanks, bye. That is actually freaking insane. What? Oh my gosh, people are crazy. The stalking thing, no, I stalk left, right, front, and center. Y'all, think about me on social media and the harassment that I get. People that know me and people that don't know me, oh, I'm fucking figuring this shit out, right? Like, I'm gonna find who you are, and I've messaged multiple people who have left hate comments, and I was able to figure out literally who they were, and I messaged their straight up account, and I said, "Hey, it seems like you're really invested in my life. Like, if you want any details or like need to know anything else, let me know." And then they would block me because they were scared shitless that I found them, and I never heard from them again. So I get the stalking thing. That's insane. Insane. I loved that story. Thank you so much. Okay, you guys, I'm going to wrap this up here. Thank you so much for listening. You guys are the best. I hope you have the best weekend. Happy Friday. Be safe. Have fun. And I will see you guys on Monday. Okay, bye, guys.